Yo, welcome to Simply Bitcoin Live, your number one source for the peaceful Bitcoin revolution with the color breaking news, culture, and memetic warfare. We will be your guide through the separation of money and state, and that's exactly what we are living through nowadays. Anyways, media, mainstream media. I wouldn't call them mainstream media anymore. I would call them the legacy media, the legacy corporate media. Caught lying in 4K about El Salvador. And unfortunately, not only did Nayib Bukele bring the receipts, Simply Bitcoin has been covering this for months now. We brought the receipts as well. And it's interesting because this is an example of what the internet has done, like the capabilities that the internet has given the individual. It's given the individual the ability to circumvent the gatekeepers of information and also the gatekeepers of money. It's disintermediated the sources of information. It's allowed people to communicate directly to each other. So if the mainstream media says something about El Salvador, or they try to spin up a narrative, before, that was the only source of information. I saw this very famous, the very popular tweet by Jack Posobiec, and I completely agree with him. And it basically says, if social media existed in 2003, we would have never have gone to war with Iraq. And I fundamentally agree with that, right? The internet has allowed and given the ability to millions upon millions of individuals to communicate directly, peer-to-peer, together with each other. And that severely diminishes the ability for the old guard, to put it gently, to put it nicely, to control the narrative, which is why they're so hell-bent on, misinformation, fact checkers, even though we know it's like, who's fact checking the fact checking? Who's fact checking the fact checkers, right? And we all know, right, in the Biden administration tried to release the Ministry of Truth, which would have been the American version of Pravda. And for anyone who doesn't know, Pravda was the official state newspaper of the USSR, of the Soviet Union, and Pravda in Russian means truth, right? Interesting. It's like history doesn't repeat itself, but it often rhymes. But the internet is just throwing a wrench in there. Now, if the internet started the fire of freedom, Bitcoin put just gasoline on the fucking fire because it's just blowing up. And, these people, I call them monetary demons. Marty Bent calls them, the unproductive class. Opti calls them the high-level parasites, which way you want to describe them. If they don't have this monopoly on information, and they don't have this monopoly on the truth, and we're going to get to that, it's very hard for them to convince people of their worldviews, right? Which is why they're so hell-bent on using that word over and over again. Misinformation. They've been used to controlling the truth for a while now, and they've been used to controlling the money for a while now, and they thought they built this protective moat that was never going to go away, but in fact, what they built for themselves is a golden cage. And Bitcoiners stepped out of the golden cage and said, hey, and this is an Andreas Antonopoulos lecture reference. We stepped out of the golden cage and we realized, like, hey, it's really nice out here. And they're stuck in there. And they're like, what? They're like, no, you guys can't go out there, but it sucks for them. They created the cage of which they trapped themselves in the first place. Absolutely exciting times, fascinating times, privileged times to live through all this. We know it's tumultuous. This is a fourth turning after all. But hey, you know what? If you bought Bitcoin, earned Bitcoin, mined Bitcoin, and you're putting that Bitcoin into cold storage, this is grade A entertainment. I don't know about you guys, but I'm having a blast watching all this stuff happening. Anyway, so we're going to get to all that. Mainstream media caught lying about Nayib Bukele. So we're going to cover that. We also have a clip for you guys from our favorite Cantillionaire conference in Davos, Switzerland, the World Economic Forum. We have a clip of that, so we're going to play that. We're going to talk about it. So it's going to be a great show, but I want to bring up my awesome co-host, always optimistic. How you doing, Opti? I'm so excited for today's episode. I'm freaking pumped, bro. I'm pumped.
I can tell. This is going to be a good one. You guys couldn't see me, but I was having a good time behind the scenes just laughing at Nico's intro. More laughing with him just because I know when Nico gets animated, it's just like, again, I say it all the time. When we get a 5-minute intro, you already know it's going to be a good show. So this one's gonna be epic. And also, I mean, it's very fitting. I think I reference it all the time about Nayib Bukele's article. We'll probably get into it once after the news of don't drink the elites Kool-Aid. And I hate using the word elites at this point because the unproductive class are not the elites. But hey, we'll talk about that later. And then on the culture, I guess I'm kind of going in on my own tirade to counter all the legacy media FUD and all their narratives. And today is one of my, I literally, it makes me feel weird when they call us Bitcoiners simply speculating on Bitcoin. Well, I got an awesome article by Bitstein. Everything is speculation. We're going to get a little economics lessons today, Nico.
Ooh. Opti, economics, Saint Opti. Oh man, I'm pumped. Anyways, guys, it's gonna be a great show. Let's check out the numbers. Opti, it's not working. Click the numbers on your side.
Let's see. Okay, yeah, I don't think we got the intro today because
no, it seems like Restream's having some
Restream's
issues.
wrecked.
Anyways, it's all good. We'll do it manually, guys. Let me tell you. Oh man, we can't even. Oh, there it is. There it is. All right, guys, let me tell you about NODL. You should be running your own Bitcoin node. If not, you're trusting someone else's. Don't trust someone else's node. Don't trust someone else's copy of the blockchain. Trust your own copy of the blockchain. And you can only do that if you run your own Bitcoin software, and you do that either by running it on your own computer. I don't suggest you do that, right? Because you want your node to be, always on, always connected to the internet. So you do what we suggest, having a dedicated device. You could do it in two ways. You could build it yourself, right? You could build a NODL, you could build a node yourself, or you can buy one pre-made. Obviously, we recommend the NODL. It's absolutely awesome, very well built. It's made of metal, also has little contingencies built in. You guys, you definitely want to go check it out. Check out nodl.it today. Be your own bank, run your own Bitcoin node today. Anyways, everybody, let's check out the numbers. A little bit of a curveball starting the show, Opti. It's interesting. I wonder if we'll be able to play the video. Oh man, that kind of bums me out. So anyways, the Bitcoin price. Opti, why don't you do the numbers while I figure this out in the back?
All right, guys. Well, look at the price. Current Bitcoin price per Bitcoin is $22,910, $915 per Bitcoin. We are currently at Moscow time, aka sats per dollar of 4,364 sats per dollar. We can still get thousands of sats per dollars, guys. We're still early. This is my favorite number, always an all-time high every time we start the show. We're at block height of 773,411, and the current reachable Bitcoin node, publicly reachable Bitcoin node, 14,106. And we are 66,589 blocks till the halving. It's getting closer, guys. We're getting closer. And the estimate date for that is April 25th, 2024. So what's that? I don't know, 18 months roughly? 13, something like that. 16, 14. Maths is hard. Can't remember. Anyways, the Lightning total capacity is currently at 5,231.95 Bitcoin, which means that the fiat value is at 119.9 million. And as Nico says, Bitcoin taking all other currencies to school with a realized monetary inflation of 1.76%. And the current market cap of Bitcoin is $441.5 billion. It is going up, guys. We're holding strong. Who knows if this is a bear trap or not? But hey, the market cap is above 300 billion again. Feels good. Feels good.
All right, everybody. So let's check out this clip from the World Economic Forum, the Quintillionaire Conference in Davos, which they hold every year. Of course, everyone knows the leader of this conference, right? The infamous Klaus Schwab. You know, you will eat the bugs. And what's really interesting, right, is that the Brad Garlinghouse, the CEO and founder of Ripple, was there, and he was part of the panel. Which is very interesting, right? In this, in this conference that is obviously against freedom, it's obviously against private property rights. You have a shitcoin founder, one of the most successful ones, which is Brad Garlinghouse, CEO and founder of Ripple, part of the panel. And then this kind of goes back to the theory of the case. Because shitcoins are inherently centralized, they need the protection of the state. They need the they need the protection of these powerful institutions. Without them, they can't survive because they're inherently centralized. There's a metaphorical, I don't want to say that on YouTube, but there's a central entity that you can capture. There's a central entity that you can put in prison, right? So, and that's in stark contrast with Bitcoin, which is why you don't see any Bitcoiners at the World Economic Forum. You see Ethereum developers. You have Aya Miyaguchi, who is part of the Ethereum Foundation board, the 3 people. She's one of them, and she's part of the World Economic Forum as well, right? It's inherently statist, right? And it's inherently statist because it just takes common sense. It's game theory, right? If you're inherently centralized and you're vulnerable to government coercion, government capture, what are you going to do? The inevitable step is to ally with the government, right? Ally with the state so that they don't shut you down. And then in the process, you hope to create a regulatory moat. And I think that's what this video really speaks of. So anyways, I'm going to play it and then we'll talk about it.
I think it's important that we are regulated, for sure. The point that I was making is I think the activity is what typically has been regulated. Regulating technologies is a little bit more complicated. Understanding how a technology is being used to touch a business, to touch a consumer, to touch fill in blank, we should absolutely have laws around that, and we should protect consumers. I'm actually intrigued by your thought around kind of the self-policing mechanisms. And as you said it, I was thinking about, how could we do a better job of that? And frankly, one of the things that came to my mind is I think, several people in the hedge fund industry had reported Madoff time and time again to the SEC, and for whatever reason, they didn't investigate. I do think, we do work with law enforcement at Ripple, and we do file suspicious activity reports. And, again, we're only working with regulated endpoints, so we're somewhat unique. And I will say, I agree with you that the origins of crypto were absolutely anti-government, anti-bank. Yep. The origins of these technologies and how these technologies can be used can be very, very different. And as time goes by, I think we spend less time talking about Mt. Gox and Silk Road and more time talking about these are real enterprise scaled use cases where it's not an experiment. You're talking about billions and billions of dollars going through Ripple's technology platform.
Can I add?
So again, like you see him, right? And again, like if you see it on the surface, you're like, no, Nico, like there's nothing that what he's saying is bad and is whatever. But what he's saying is like, yeah, we do need to regulate these certain things, right? Because they're not bad. And Ripple is going to, take care of this inherent enterprise software. Like, look, I'll tell you something, guys. A blockchain is a very inefficient database. It's terrible. It's terrible. Like, it's good for one thing, Bitcoin, right? You want a decentralized public ledger. That's what it's good for. Everything else, it's dog shit. They're trying to take your money. That's what it's for. So he needs to go to Davos and he needs to say, yes, we need to regulate the industry, but he's not saying it for consumer protection. He's saying it with the intention of, hey, we need to build a regulatory moat because we know in the free market, one-to-one fair competition, they will never be able to match Bitcoin's incentives, right? So that's the problem. He's hoping to go there and convince these government regulators, say, hey, you know what? We're okay. Bitcoin isn't kosher because, hey, you can't regulate Bitcoin, but you can regulate Ripple. Now, here's the thing. If you could regulate Bitcoin, it would defeat the purpose of Bitcoin, right? That's the whole thing, right? And again, there's trade-offs to this. The benefits are that if you live in a totalitarian country, right, or you live in a country with high inflation, or you live in a country with capital controls, or you live in a country that has been cut off from the global financial system due to U.S. sanction policy, right? The fact that Bitcoin works the way it works is actually extremely beneficial to you. And a lot of people will say, no, that's a danger to society. I would beg to differ, because because El Salvador is a main example of what a society could look like. And look, I don't think it's a coincidence that El Salvador has been flourishing while, the rest of like countries like Argentina that are not on a Bitcoin standard, continue to suffer from extremely high levels of inflation. I don't think that's a coincidence. And I think as time progresses, more countries that adopt a Bitcoin standard will get extremely similar results. I think, and look, because I could say this on a personal level, as soon as I adopted a Bitcoin standard, I started thinking with that deflationary mindset. I changed my operating system from a fiat operating system to a Bitcoin operating system. All of a sudden, I started having hope for a future. Right? I know the same is with Opti. I know the same is with most people that have migrated to a Bitcoin standard. Now imagine an entire country doing that migration. I don't think it's a coincidence that that country is getting similar results. Right? So, dude, absolutely hysterical that Brad Garlinghouse is literally on a panel at the World Economic Forum talking about regulation. And these are the same people that are advocating for you'll own nothing and be happy. Like it's absolutely hysterical, Anyways, Opti, what are your thoughts? Is this as funny to you as it is to me?
Dude, hilarious. So I mean, the CEO of Ripple at Davos, just like big lol, like, and then what you said, what do you say? We need regulation, like another big lol. And first off, like, who the F is we? Obviously the Ripple CEO wants regulation because, as you said, and this, I'm glad you said this because this is what I was going to say. The same thing. It's like, of course he wants regulation because his business needs that regulatory moat so that they can try to crawl along and continue to scam people. Like, government regulation will simply stop innovation. It will ensure that this, the monopoly of these shit coins are, perpetuated into the future. And just let's remember, let's just remember some of the stuff that we covered last year about the fact that Greenpeace has been funded by Ripple to continuously FUD proof of work. Like, these are the same people, like Nico says, that want us to own nothing and be happy. And now you're going to, listen to them about regulating Bitcoin and shitcoins. Like, guys, this is absolutely ridiculous. The hubris of the shitcoiners, the fact that he's in a suit up there, with other suited people talking about, like, from his mighty horse, like, oh, we need to regulate Bitcoin for the safety of the consumer. And it's like, dude, it's absolutely atrocious and ridiculous that these people can go on TV, go into their meetings and these conventions, and with a straight face tell us that they are here for your protection. Like, it's fucking disgusting. Like, I don't know how else to put it.
It's cheap moral virtue, man. And these are the same people that are telling you, not to use gas vehicles while they're taking their private jets, to Davos to meet at this Contillionaire Conference 2023. It's absolute moral virtue. It's hypocrisy, but I don't think they care. I think what they're trying to let you know is that this is a hierarchy. We are here. We play by different rules, and all you peasants play by different rules. And you know what? Bitcoin throws a wrench in their plans, and that's exactly why they hate it. Anyways, Opti, let's get to the news.
The Daily News.
Brought to you by Blockstream Jade, built by Bitcoiners for Bitcoiners. It's an open source hardware wallet for the cold storage of Bitcoin. Blockstream Jade houses a full color camera, allowing for fully air-gapped Bitcoin transactions. Scan and display QR codes directly on the device to sign transactions and verify addresses with ease. Use your Blockstream Jade with your favorite wallet software, such as the Blockstream Green, Blue Wallet, Electrum, and Sparrow. Get yourself a Blockstream Jade today and take self-custody of your Bitcoin. All right, everybody. They restreamed through a little bit of a wrench in our plans today. We have to play the videos manually, but it's all good. The show goes on. Anyways, everybody. So, a trip down memory lane. we've been covering this quite diligently, I might add. All of the legacy corporate media's attacks on not only Bitcoin, but also Salvador. And like, why? Let's talk a little bit about why that is, right? Because if the El Salvador Bitcoin experiment is successful, it will prove that there's a viable alternative to the current system, right? The current system, the way it works is that if a country finds itself in financial problems, they ask for a bailout from the IMF. And the IMF uses SDRs, of which they print, right? And with that bailout comes a bunch of conditions, right? The one that we covered for Argentina, one of those conditions was, hey, we'll give you this bailout, but you have to de-incentivize the adoption of Bitcoin and shitcoins in your country, right? So as much as the IMF, the United Nations, claim that they are for the people, they want equality, equity, inclusivity for all, what I believe they're really after is power and control. And it's become very apparent as time goes by. And remember, a lot of these legacy corporate media establishments are mouthpieces for these organizations, right? That includes the New York Times, that includes the Financial Times, or I love Opti's nickname for the Financial Times, the Fiat Times. That's a great nickname. I love it. I'm going to keep using it. But, you know, you have this media machine, and this is why independent media is so important. Actually, it's not only independent media. You, the individual, take agency, are the independent media, because you have the ability to like a tweet, to engage with the tweet, to tweet something yourself. You can ridicule them with memes. Memes have to be true, or else they don't have the common language. They don't have the common denominator. If they're not true, then you won't understand them, right? And you ridicule them, and they hate it. They hate it because they're the ones they used to be the only ones that had a platform. They're the only ones that could spat out things. And now they have competition. And that competition, unfortunately for them, is with people that aren't bought by special interests. Therefore, they could tell the truth. Unfortunately for them. So this is what it's all about. This is about power. It's not about the truth. It's not about equity. It's not about equality. Bitcoin is the most equitable, equal money the world has ever seen. Their system is a proof of stake system. Their system is a system of hierarchy. They're the quintillionaires. They're the people that are closest to the money spigot. And then there are all the peasants. And you dirty peasants, you cannot have gas stoves. No. How dare you? How dare you? We could fly private jets. We could have yachts. But you? Nah. 15-minute cities, baby. You walk. Oh, and by the way, if you want to buy a gas stove, nah, man, you can't do that. CBDCs. Oh, well, shut off your money. Nah, we don't like your opinion. So when we say there's a future between Bitcoin or slavery, there is no exaggeration when we say that. We might be over the top the way that we deliver that message, but that doesn't take away from the fact that it is true. We're heading into a future right now. It's a little bit obfuscated, the battle lines, where you, the individual, are going to have to pick and choose whether you want a future of freedom, which is Bitcoin, or whether you want a future of slavery. And El Salvador has taken the first step. El Salvador is in the firing line because it has taken that decision. It has taken the decision to say, hey, there's a viable alternative to the current financial system. And not only is there a viable alternative, there is a better alternative. And that's exactly why they are attacking it the way they are. Anyways, so let's read through some of these headlines, shall we? So first one by El País. Bitcoin's decline in value is a, quote, deadly blow for El Salvador. Next one by The Economist. El Salvador's Bitcoin experiment is not paying off. Next one by CNBC. El Salvador's Bitcoin experiment, 60 million lost, 375 million spent, little to show so far. The New York Times, a poor country made Bitcoin a national currency. The bet isn't paying off. We have a Spanish article by Infobay. It says, La Aventura, the adventure of Nayib Bukele and Bitcoin could leave El Salvador in risk of a default. Now, let's take a look at some of the numbers, right? Because if you were to take these headlines at face value, you would say, wow, this has been a fucking clusterfuck. This has been a disaster. This guy's absolutely crazy. He's lost his mind. He's a Bitcoin dictator. You know, he's a fascist. You know, he's a totalitarian, all these crazy things, right? You'd say all of those things, right? But let's take a look at the data. It sucks for them that we're able to look at the data. This is why they hate the internet. This is why they want to censor the internet. This is why, because what happens is if you have individuals critically thinking, doing their own research, they can't control the narrative anymore. And it freaks them the F out. Now, imagine that. And now imagine millions of individuals not only critically thinking, but also holding a money that can't be debased, can't be censored, and can't be easily confiscated. You get why they hate this thing so bad. Anyways, so let's check out some of the data, shall we? And we've gone over this many times, but you know, in honor of these recent articles, we'll go through the data again. So El Salvador used to be one of the most violent countries in Central America, had one of the highest murder rates in the world. 2022, the murder rate, the homicides per 100,000 inhabitants was 7.8. This is down from an all-time high in 2015 of 103. 2023, it's projected that the homicide rate per 100,000 individuals is 2.1. That is lower than some American cities. Nayib Bukele and the Bitcoin experiment is saving lives. Anyways, so let's take a look at GDP growth. Since the Bitcoin law, you could say this is a coincidence. You could say Nico, this is a coincidence. Well, fine. Maybe you could say it's a coincidence on its own, but here's the thing, right? I know what Bitcoin's done to my life. I know what Bitcoin's done to Opti's life. I know what Bitcoin's done to people that have migrated to a Bitcoin standard and what has happened. Hope for a better future, prosperity, financial opportunity. El Salvador had record GDP growth, 10.3% gross domestic product in 2021, 10.3. That is a historical record, and this goes all the way back to 1966. Just to give you guys a frame of reference. So, what are they talking about? I have no idea. Anyways, we do have an idea. We've been talking about why they're saying this. Now, one of the other narratives that they say is that Nayib Bukele is a danger to democracy, right? And they love that. This is a danger to democracy. Is a danger. This guy's a tyrant. This guy's whatever. Let's take a look at his popularity, right? And it's taking a bunch of different polls, right? So we have 90%, 85%, 92%, 96%, 91%, 89%, 96%, 86%, 94%, 87%, 84%, 85%, 84%, 84, 91, 89, 87. You get the point. This guy's very, very popular. Now, use common sense a little bit. Why is he popular? Well, record GDP growth, decreasing violence, maybe those are good reasons as to why he's popular. Like, wait a second, isn't that the job of the president? Like, isn't that the job? Prosperity? Like, isn't that that's the whole point, right? Not for the people in Davos. Not for the New York Times. Not for the Economist. No. It's not about prosperity for all, as much as you'd like to say that's your slogan, the United Nations. It's about power and control. And again, this isn't just Nico saying this. Isn't just simply Bitcoin saying this. You have Nayib Bukele saying this as well. There's a very famous article that Nayib Bukele wrote for Bitcoin Magazine. We've referenced it many, many times. The name of the article is Stop Drinking the Elite's Kool-Aid. Let's go through it, right? And there's this passage here that I think is the most powerful, and I think it perfectly encompasses what it is we're talking about with the legacy media and why the legacy media is so hostile to not only El Salvador, but Bitcoin. The most vocal detractors, the ones who are afraid and pressuring us to reverse our decision, are the world's most powerful elites and the people who work for or benefit from them. They used to own everything, and in a way they still do. The media, the banks, the NGOs, the international organizations, and almost all the governments and corporations in the world. And with that, of course, they own the armies, the loans, the money supply, the credit ratings, the narrative, the propaganda, the factories, the food supply. They control international trade and international law. But their most powerful weapon is the control of the truth. And they're willing to fight, lie, smear, destroy, censor, confiscate, print, and do whatever it takes to maintain and increase their control over the truth and everything and everyone. So this is what it's about, ladies and gentlemen. This is about the fight for freedom. But the awesome part is that this isn't a kinetic war. We don't have to pick up rifles and storm buildings and, war sucks, war is hell, right? This is a peaceful revolution. All you got to do, buy Bitcoin, mine Bitcoin, earn Bitcoin, take that Bitcoin, put it into self-custody, download an ethical Bitcoin wallet like the Blue Wallet. Opti's going to name the rest. It's the only one I could think of off the top of my head. Wallet of Satoshi, Moon. Get yourself a hardware wallet, take self-custody. Jade obviously is one of our favorites, our sponsor. You have Cold Card as well. You have Foundation also. You have so many good Trezor. You have so many good companies making hardware wallets for you to take self-custody. It's all we got to do. We want to defeat these monetary demons, the unproductive class, the high-level parasites. All you got to do is take your work, your energy, your time, and put it into something that they can't debase and they can't confiscate easily. And then all of a sudden, they're on a back foot. And let me tell you, they are on a back foot. They're freaking the F out. And that's why they're releasing these types of propaganda hit pieces that are not based on facts on the ground. They're based on misrepresentations and spin in order to achieve a certain political goal. But it's not going to work, unfortunately for them. The internet has given us the ability to communicate directly to each other. I could talk directly to you guys from my home. I don't have to go through them anymore. And because of that, their ability to control, shift, manipulate the narrative it's severely diminished. And every day it loses more. They lose more and more and more power. The more they lie, the more they spin, the more they wake people up. And before you know it, they won't have anyone buying their stuff anymore. And in a generation, do you really believe that the 10, 20 years from now, the youth are going to be watching cable news to get their sources of information? Of course not. We're heading into a radically new world, a different world. But the people in charge, the quintillionaire class, the people that sold out our future because they printed too much money, they're trying everything and anything to hold on to that power for as long as humanly possible. But it's slowly going through their hands. There's nothing they could do about it. But that doesn't mean they're not going to put up a fight. And that this media bullshit, these lies that they're saying about Nayib Bukele, it's an attempt to do that. But the monopolies that they once had are quickly being disintermediated. And they don't have this advantage that they've enjoyed for decades and decades. So it's crazy times we're living through. Hunker down, take self-custody, run your own node, take part in this beautiful, peaceful revolution. The only thing you need to do, just take self-custody. If enough of us do it, we will win, and there's nothing they can do about it. Opti?
Well, it's hard to follow a classic Nico Jones rant like that, but I love that you brought all those receipts to start off that bit. As I was thinking while you were covering all those, like, you can't trust any of those publications that you named in the beginning of that bit. So you know, if you want to know who the enemy are of the corporate press, like who is actively working against you, then you can rewind that and see what publications Nico named. Like, you can't trust those publications. And I'm glad that you brought up the article that we reference all the time. You know, don't drink the elite's Kool-Aid, don't drink the unproductive class's Kool-Aid, because we say it literally every day. And you read the perfect part where the only thing they have is the monopoly on truth, quote unquote, on truth. So everything's a PR war. The only thing that they've been able to do for the longest time ever is control the narrative. And as we are a part of, as we are seeing as Bitcoiners, that narrative is falling apart, and there is seams in the narrative control. And this is why the importance of the internet, the importance of all you guys out there is so important, because we are actively in an information war, as I say, and we are continuously battling on that front. And the only thing they can really do is bombard you with so much noise that you forget what the signal is. And this is why it's important for everyone to put their hat in the ring and continue to make more Bitcoin content, continue to push people towards the freedom tools that we talk about every single day. As we say, you know, all you got to do is take Bitcoin into self-custody using Blue Wallet, Green Wallet, Sparrow, Spectre, Cold Card, Seed Signer, Jade. What did I miss? Zeus, Blue Wallet. I think I said Blue Wallet, Breeze, Moon. Like, these are the wallets that you guys need to be using. You need to be saying it more often. We need to push people towards that. And as I've been saying for a while now, my heuristic is if people aren't pushing their followers into Bitcoin, cold storage, into self-custody rather, then their incentives are suspect. And I might go on a little tangent here, Nico, but again, I guess I'm on this tangent this week of countering all this legacy FUD, and I'm reminded of you said something about like Bukele being an enemy to democracy, and I read this article this last week in that same.
Wait. I didn't say Nayib Bukele is an enemy of democracy.
No, I know they're saying it. You read it. They read it. Whatever. You know what I'm saying. You read them saying this, and I read it in Bitcoin Magazine's The Orange Pill issue, and it was Beauty On's article. The stage is now set to replace fiat, and there's a point in there where, like, it's a big piece. I highly recommend you guys read it. It's on Bitcoin Magazine's website. And there's a portion in there where he just thoroughly destroys democracy. And I think it's just fitting. I highlighted a sentence or so here so that we can continuously spread this signal. And he goes, democratic doesn't equal fair, proper, or right. It doesn't ensure just outcomes or restrain the state from committing mass murder. Democratically overproduced fiat is the fuel that powered the mass murder military-industrial complex that ravaged the 20th century. And now with Bitcoin in place as the world money, outrageous like this cannot happen again because there simply and literally is no money for it. And to continue to double down, what is democracy? Democracy is a coercive political system where people in a geographic area are enfranchised.
Hold on.
I want to get it out, Nico, but go on.
Hold on a second.
I'm tired of them using democracy for them to run and hide, Nico. But go on. You go on.
Dude, I mean, that's a dangerous path. Like, so what is the alternative?
Voluntary system like Bitcoin.
I think I would, you know what? I would say this, Opti. I would say that Bitcoin fixes the incentives. Therefore, I think a lot of, like, if someone is democratically elected right now, their incentive is not to do good by the people. Their incentive is to get close to the money spigot, right? I think if you take away the ability for the state to print money, right? All of a sudden, politicians, their only way of raising money is via direct taxation. And you're going to see politicians get thrown out of office very quickly if they start raising taxes in order to fund an endless war, right? I think that the money printer itself basically has misaligned incentives where politicians are working not for their constituents, but in order to maintain power, because if they maintain power, they get access to the money printer. If they get access to the money printer, it funds whatever social program they want. If they want to fund an endless war in order to, get some of those kickbacks from the military industrial complex, right, from the defense industry, right? I think that's really what's wrong, because what other political system are you suggesting, right? You have monarchy, you have dictatorship, you have democracy. I always think of the Winston Churchill quote, right? Which is, I'm totally paraphrasing here, but he said basically something along the lines of, I hate democracy, but it's the best system we have. Right. And I think I feel strongly about his statement, which is like, I'm not a fan, but I think compared to the other forms of government, maybe I'm wrong. Right. I don't know what else. Like, think about it, bro. Like, monarchy is a form of dictatorship. A dictatorship is a dictatorship. So like, at least there is some type of say. I just think that the money printer just misaligned incentives.
Well, I was going to say all that as well, but yes, voluntary association between humans is the way forward. I really like this. Who was it? Diogenes put, democracy is a 51% attack. I'll just leave it at that.
No, this is a great conversation. Anyways, everybody, let's get to the culture.
The Daily Culture.
Brought to you by SwanBitcoin.com. Swan is the best way to build your Bitcoin stack with automated Bitcoin savings plans and instant purchases, serving clients of any size from $10 to $10 million. We love Swan because they incentivize self-custody and dollar cost averaging. What are you waiting for? Visit SwanBitcoin.com today.
Let's go. Is there another ad that we're putting in here, or do I just go straight into it? I'm going straight into it. All right, guys. So, as I've been saying, I guess I'm on this hell-bent warpath to continuously counter legacy media fund and all the bad takes in regards to Bitcoin and Bitcoiners in general. And this one is one that really grinds my gears. Anyways, this article was dropped yesterday by Michael Goldstein, aka Bitstein, on Twitter. And if you don't know who he is, definitely go follow him. He's one of the GOAT Bitcoin content creators. And this article is awesome. It will be a little bit of reading, but it's going to be a short little economic lessons, guys. Do not tune out. I know when I say economics class, you're like, oh, I don't want to do a class, but I think everyone should know this signal. Everyone's a speculator. All assets are speculative assets. So I'm going to get into this a little bit. And there's a bunch of quotes and stuff. So the first one is by Ludwig von Mises in Human Action. A tendency prevails to make a sharp distinction between such purely speculative ventures and genuinely sound investment. The distinction is one of degree only. There's no such thing as a non-speculative investment. In a changing economy, action will always involve speculation. Investments may be good or bad, but they are always speculative. A radical change in conditions may render bad even investments commonly considered perfectly safe. Again, this is Ludwig von Mises in Human Action. And as Bitstein writes, and the reason I'm covering this is for this first paragraph in general. It is common for critics to call into question the economic rationality of Bitcoiners for accumulating and saving Bitcoin by claiming that Bitcoin is nothing but a speculative asset. The insinuation is that Bitcoin is worthless and derives value solely from a series of scams or games of greater fools. But such language betrays them as their aspersions reveal misunderstandings of basic economic thinking. The simple reality is all action is speculative action, and all assets are speculative assets. The question that must be addressed is not if, but how we should speculate on Bitcoin. And this is something that I've noticed in myself. Anytime someone says, oh, Bitcoiners are just speculating, I have a fundamental thought like, wow, they don't know basic economics. But hey, We'll get into it. If the future was partly predictable, there would be no need to make economic choices. There would be no ability for a choice to have an impact on the future because the future would already be predetermined. That humans act with the intent of affecting future conditions to their benefit implies a fundamental and inescapable uncertainty about the future. Uncertainty exists for two reasons. First, we don't know enough about natural phenomena such that we can predict all future natural conditions, and we likely never will. And second, human preferences are always in flux. People change their opinion, people change what they value, and new knowledge and experiences shape their ideas about the best means to attain given ends or whether they want those certain ends. So, understanding uncertainty requires differentiating it from risk, and in human action, Ludwig von Mises does this by explaining different types of probabilities that actors must deal with. And we're always dealing with insufficient knowledge to make definite claims about the future, but we are not always without any knowledge at all. And so I'm going to skip a little bit of this stuff. So if you really want to read this, bitscene.substack.com. Everyone's a speculator. I think everyone should read this, but I'm gonna give you guys the meat. So, human action is based on subjective and qualitative value rather than measurable quantitative data. It is thus impossible to calculate different probabilities of economic outcome. We might be able to use factors such as past preferences to help make a judgment about the outcome of actions, but we can't use this to place calculable frequencies on the outcomes. And Mises uses an example of a football game. Past victories for one team might give us reason to believe that they will win again, but that does not guarantee a loss for the underdog. In fact, if this were the game would be boring and pointless. Most uncertainty that humans face deal with events that are unique to each individual circumstance and thus are not insurable. We must use other means to deal with uncertainty. And Mises identifies three ways that we deal with uncertainty: gambling, engineering, and speculation. And there's a whole breakdown of the difference of these three things. But when dealing with matters involving people's valuations of goods, however, humans must engage in speculation. In the real world, acting man is faced with the fact that there are fellow men acting on their own behalf as he himself acts. The necessity to adjust his actions to other people's actions make him a speculator for whom success and failure depend on his greater or lesser ability to understand the future. Every investment is a form of speculation. There is in the course of human events no stability and consequently no safety. Preferences can change for any reason, and they do change, and a good that is valuable today might not be tomorrow or vice versa. And actors deal with this by speculating. They buy or sell goods today based on how they believe conditions will be tomorrow. And that being said, these decisions are not made in a vacuum. Actors use their knowledge about the state of the market as it is, as well as knowledge about preferences, beliefs, past actions, etc., to make judgments about the future. And the most successful entrepreneurs, the most successful investors are those who are most adept at routinely anticipating how people in the future, while those who are unable to do so face losses and continually go out of business. And profits and loss actor in turn serve as learning opportunities. Uncertainty and speculation then are at the root of the market process. It is incumbent upon all actors to learn how to respond to market signals. And this is why we love the saying of Marty Bent, the unproductive class, the talking heads out there. They can say whatever they want from their high box, their high stature, but they are in a different position than us because we have to listen to market signals. We have to inherently speculate on the uncertainty of the future, while they can just turn on the Monty printer and fund whatever they want. But all assets are speculative assets, and the future is always uncertain because there is no constant in human action. Speculation is unavoidable. All action is directed at improving future conditions, but we can only speculate on what the future will hold, and preferences change, including our own. What we want today or what we think we may want tomorrow, we may not want when tomorrow actually comes. That means, strictly speaking, every good that we buy and sell is a speculative asset. So Bitcoin is certainly a speculative asset, but so are pencils, cars, and ice cream. If you are speculating on an asset, and you always are, you're also speculating on other assets because the buying and selling of one good necessitates the opportunity cost of not buying or selling another good. So while one person may speculate on an asset after sophisticated deliberation, such as a Bitcoiner, another simply is taking a hot tip off CNBC. They are both using knowledge of input factors that can affect the outcome of the event, but dealing with speculative assets is not the same as gambling. So everything is speculation. But since uncertainty is not predictable, there's no insurance for uncertainty. Instead, actors turn to a specific good, the most marketable good called money. And then it goes into a breakdown of money. But anyone who acquires money is speculating that acquired cash balances will be more valuable in the future than any present investment, and that purchasing power in the future will be at a satisfactory level. Bitcoin may be a speculative asset, but so is the US dollar. So given that everything is a speculative asset, including money, it is incumbent for us to examine speculative activity based on the knowledge and judgments being made to make the speculation, rather than just shutting off our minds with linguistic thoughts, terminators. And this is what I always say to people. I just read Bitstein's article, and obviously it is a higher level of economics than what I usually say. But the way I say it is all of life is speculation. Every single day you're speculating on the future, whether it's is this sentence going to relate well to my girlfriend? Am I going to walk out there and get hit by a car? Or whether I am holding Bitcoin? We are all uncertain about our future actions, and we are just speculating on the best course of action. So all of life is speculation. So anytime someone else tells you, oh, Bitcoin is just speculation, you don't need to get into an economic debate with them. You can basically, either have two thoughts in your mind. Either they are completely uninformed and have no basic economic understanding, or they are trying to ensure that you don't get into Bitcoin and, for lack of better terms, have an evil intent towards you. So continuously go down the path that all of life is speculation. Everything you do, you're speculating on the future. You're trying to ease uncertainty in your future. You're trying to make your future life better. So anything that you are doing, whether it's an investment, whether it's just walking outside, whether, anything, it's speculation. So if you hear other people out there on corporate press tell you that Bitcoin is just speculation, understand what they want. They don't want you to opt out of the madness. And so they're going to go down these economic fallacies so that more people get gaslit. And so that, the talking heads out there sound smart, but really they have no basic economic understanding, because all of life is speculation, and holding money has one reason. It's to eliminate uncertainty into the future. We're holding the most marketable good, which is money. And if you understand Bitcoin as we understand, then you are making a bet that more people will come to the Schelling point that is Bitcoin, and we will ensure that the world has more freedom. I think this is a fundamental, basic thesis of mine, that humans want freedom, humans seek freedom, and if you give them a choice of a better money, one that is designed to steal from you and one that isn't, they will make the best economic choice for themselves and their family, and they will start holding Bitcoin. So the name of the game is just wake up people out there to the economic truth that is Bitcoin, that it is a better way to hold and save and hedge uncertainty. Anyways, Nico, what's your thoughts on this? Do you get as mad as I do?
Dude, 100%. And look, money is subjective. Money, not only is life speculative, right? There's no certainties in life. I think we've heard that 1,000 times, or at least I have from my parents, right? It's also probabilities, right? And the fact is, right, that look at, the characteristics of Bitcoin, and the characteristics of fiat. If you challenge the characteristics of fiat, your discussion, your points, the things that you bring up don't get debated. You get character attacked. It gets deflected. None of those things are actually brought up to the discussion. And it's including how the central bankers view Bitcoin as well, right? They see it as the state must control this. Trust must be enabled. Intermediaries must exist. And they're thinking in absolutes, right? And that to me tells me something, right? If you're not willing to actually debate the thing, you're just willing to just shut down the conversation completely, and then Bitcoiners are constantly debating, like it's a constant thing, right? Like even sometimes we even destroy each other in the process. Like bigger blocks, no bigger blocks, bigger blocks, bigger blocks. And there's a fucking war, you know, and then one side won, one side lost. Like, bro, like, you know, it's constantly being attacked. That's what Bitcoin is. It's designed to be attacked versus their system. It attacks it. You're like, don't hurt me. Misinformation. There's no inflation. What are you talking about? You know, and then the things, it's like, you're a danger to democracy. Like, it's like none of it is actually debated. It's just shut down. And then they use the propaganda machine to say, you know, El Salvador dangerous. This guy's a tyrant. This guy's a liar. It's an absolute failure. And then you actually look at the receipts. It's all a lie. So then just kind of like use like just common sense or just comments to just break it down. The side that is defending fiat and the current system, hypocritical, move the goalposts. When you challenge them to a debate, they call you names and they character attack you. And then they stand on moral authority. We are the central bank. Therefore, you have to trust us, even though we have decades of lying to you. Right? Like if I'm the Argentinian people and you're like, you got to trust the peso, capital controls, capital whatever. And it's like, bro, there's 95% inflation. Like, are you stupid? You know, and then the Bitcoiners are just like, look, cap supply. This thing is good, meant to go up forever. Look at the performance the last 10 years. There's 21 million, hard to confiscate, hard to whatever. And you tell them that, they're like, that doesn't work. It has no value. It's speculative. It's like, motherfucker, the price is at $22,900. And 5 years ago, it was significantly less. What the fuck are you talking about? And then in 5 years from now, right? What's going to happen then? What's the excuse? So this is why, like, we've brought it up multiple times on Simply Bitcoin Live. Like, the next halving, both Michael Saylor and Nayib Bukele are going to be vindicated. And it's getting to a point where the media is getting so desperate. They have no excuses anymore. They've run out. They don't have anywhere to go, right? So it's going to be glorious to see. And I'm really excited because Max Kaiser said it the other day, and I think he said it perfectly, right? The excuses themselves are suffering from fucking inflation, okay? The excuses have inflation, right? This is total clown world. We see it. And the elites are just like, did you guys see the video of I really recommend it. Go. They do a singing thing in the World Economic for the Contillionaire Conference of 2023. And the lady is like
the Final Fantasy one.
Like whispering in the fucking birds. People can't fucking afford food and pay for gas because of these fucking decisions of these people. And she's like singing like a bird into the microphone. Like, what the fuck are you doing, bro?
Singing to the birds.
It's like, it's so crazy. It's absurd. And then when you take agency and you're just like, yo, like, I get your system. Cool, bro. I just don't want to be a part of it. I'm going to go into Bitcoin. They attack you, right? There's the signal right there. There's the signal. The fact that it pisses them off so much and they're freaked out so much that you're opting out into a system that they can't control tells you everything you need to know. That's the signal right there. Beautiful article, Opti. I really enjoyed it. Anyways, everybody, let's get to the numbers. Show today is going to be running a little bit long.
The Daily Meme Review.
Brought to you by Kaboomracks. I get this question all the time. Nico, where should I buy Bitcoin miners? The answer is Kaboomracks. It's the best place to buy Bitcoin miners. That's where you're going to find the best deals and the best prices. Start your mining utopia today. To check out their racks, you got to go to t.me/Kaboomracks. Join their Telegram group and start your mining journey today. Kaboomracks.
Let's go.
We got a request. So you guys know what the fuck I'm talking about, okay? Here we go.
Hold on. I think you need to do it as a you got it.
Okay, fine. You know, I'm not gonna make fun of anyone's
the scat man, scat woman.
I'm not gonna make fun of like anyone's artistry or whatever the talents that they have, and like I'm not trying to bash on that. But what I'm trying to say is that those motherfuckers are the same people that are telling you that you have to use central bank digital currencies, and if you use a gas stove, you're going to destroy the planet, right? Like, those are the same people that are telling you that, which is why I'm bringing it up. It's so crazy. It's absurd. It's nuts. It's absolutely insane, right? So, yeah, man, look. Not making fun of the singing. Everyone's got their own type of artistic and like whatever, and like, you know, all the power to you. If that's the type of music you like, cool, bro. Just leave me alone. Just leave me alone. They don't want to leave you alone. That's the problem. Oh man.
All right, guys. This is your favorite portion of the show. Honestly, that was the first meme.
That was the first meme. That was the fucking meme. That was the meme.
All right, you already know this is the meme review. Tweets of the bullets, memes of the artillery. We are in an information war, and you guys are the frontline soldiers. So continue to spread the memes. Continue to ridicule the fiat maxis out there.
Bro, just because you sing like that, just because you fucking sing like that, like, it's like we sing like that. We're good people. We're morally virtue. Oh, nothing and be happy, motherfucker. Like, bro, like, what the fuck? You can't have one and not the other. You can't have two. Like, just because you feel like you're morally virtuous and that you're a good person, it's like, look at my singing, whatever, doesn't give you the right to coerce other people into your style of living, right? Like, it's cheap moral virtue that you look behind the hood. It's hiding tyranny. That's literally what it is. Right, it's a facade behind the facade. It's fucking tyranny, bro. It's a lie. It's not based on truth, dude. Anyways, bro, it's absurd, dude. People can't pay for gas. They can't afford shit. They can't afford for food. There's people starving, and the Contillionaire conference, there's some lady bird singing. Like, fuck, man. You know, she's really good. Like, it sounded great, you know, but on its own, like, if you connect it with what it represents, it's totally absurd. It's just clown world personified.
Shouts out to old school millennial. I had the same thought. It reminded me of the alien opera scene in The Fifth Element. Yes, if you know, you know. Go watch that movie again. This is where we are in the movie. All right.
Nothing wrong with the singing. Nothing wrong with the singing. It's just how it happened, where it happened. Look, they fucked up the timing. Okay, they fucked up the timing. Okay, they're talking about CBDCs taking everyone's shit. You own nothing and whatever. They fucked up that timing. You know. Like, maybe if they played that at a Bitcoin con, I'd be like, yo, that's dope. That's dope. That's cool. That's cool. That's really cool. I'd be like, hey, you know what?
All right.
To each their own. To each their own. To each their own.
This is a Simply Art review now. Simply Art review. All right. This first meme, second meme by 21JCLP. There's no second best.
What's the second best? There is no second best.
We got Sailor over here with 500-pound dumbbells, listening to Bitcoin podcasts with Bitcoin sunglasses going, there is no second best. And then we got the anti-maxi down here. No, a crying Wojak because they understand or refuse to understand that
there is no second best.
Okay, this next one, shouts out to Maxis Club. Absolutely love these. I'm going to always use them when I find a good one. This one is number 285. Just look. And we got everyone's favorite alphabet man. Just look at all these Bitcoin extremists. And look at all these Bitcoin extremists just at the Beef Initiative having a barbecue. Look, there's Becca there, and you know, the Hot or Not, the Space Cat. And I think that's Rusty. And we got Yellow. All we're doing is trying to eat some good barbecue. Make sure we're nutritious and healthy, and hang out with our friends and have cool economic conversations and troll each other and make each other laugh. This next one, shouts out to Revolt Age. This is my personal view right here as well. We got the old senile granny going, Bitcoin is still going to 12K. And we got the young caregiver, sure, grandma, let's get you to bed. All right, this next one. This meme is by Propagandopolis. I don't know who that is. That's not the point of this meme. But you can see here, we got this sign, warning, This disc will give you hours of fun, and this disc could give you 6 months in prison. If you pirate software, you are a thief. Thieves will be prosecuted. Piracy is theft. And the meme is right here by Beauty On. It goes, this relates directly to Bitcoin. All the efforts of the state to stop Bitcoin will come to nothing. Future generations will look at the pathetic efforts of the state and its useful idiots and lol that anyone could be this stupid and so gauche, as you can see in this poster. What do we say all the time? History doesn't repeat, but it rhymes. This next one, shouts out to Becca, or AKA BT Weekly Gossip. And she goes, year 2052, you can see the Bitcoin sunset in the background, and we got a very fit-looking, sexy woman with an extremely overbeast man, and she goes, and he has 0.001 BTC. This is true love. There's still hope for all you Bitcoiners out there. Savage. Okay. My meme review score. Oh, hold on. It fell on the ground. Again, I haven't gone through all my sticker packs yet, but today's meme review score is this Satoshi Salt Bay sticker. All right. I said, usually I always forget this. Drop your meme review score chat in the meme review in the chat, and we'll review it live while Nico gets his trinkets out of his junk drawer.
Some orange pills.
Ooh.
They actually have a Bitcoin logo in there.
Wow.
Yeah. I think I got this at a Max Kaiser event.
This is not drugs
the
show.
It's not drugs, okay? It's just orange pills. It's just orange pills.
They're sweet tarts.
They're just orange pills. They do nothing. Those sugar pills or something. Anyways.
Oh wait.
We got to give a shout out to our awesome clothing sponsor, representltd.com. Opti and I always wear the merch every single day. I'm wearing the camo. You guys know I like the camo one. Opti's wearing the classic black. By the way, the Simply Bitcoin merch sold out. The B17 hoodie sold out. The camo hoodie, I think there's still some left in large. You have to get yours while supplies last. Go to representltd.com. You can search Simply Bitcoin, or you can click down below. Anyways, Opti, let's get to some of the meme scores, shall we?
Let's go. We got Pravin goes, El Salvador flag. I give those memes $800 million reasons to stack more corn. Let's go. I think that's
plebiscite is software release.
We're doing the meme review scores.
I know,
but it's going to be a software. We
got some technical difficulties today.
I forgot. I'm like, you're trying to rush it. You're trying to rush me here.
We gotta prep.
I got you. Okay, I got the scores. All right, we got the P-Man Van. He goes, I give these memes a cat fight between Christine and Janet for Opti's undying devotion.
that joke's never gonna die.
Undying devotion. Yeah, that might be a problem. All right, next one. Max Trotter. I give those memes 4 fine fresh fried fish for you. Okay, sounds delicious. I am starving. All right, this next one. Elaine, shouts out to you. She goes, I give those memes Bitcoin Maxi's laughter at the idiocracy at Davos. Yes, this is the way. All right, this next one is Jay Semina. I give those memes. What is it? Jay Semina. Jasmina. I don't know. I give those memes a bowl of coleslaw. Oh man, I want some barbecue. You're making me want barbecue now. Anyways, the next one, Global Nonsense. I give these memes $32,000 for 1 ETH gas fee. Oof, wrecked, absolutely wrecked. This next one, Frank Arn. I give these memes 1 Nico finally not calling it legacy or mainstream, but instead calling it corporate press. Let's go. We got time for 2 more, Opti. Okay, the score by Igor goes, the score is shrinkflation. And let's see.
Last one.
BTC Berg, have that sticker on my bumper.
That's not a score, but okay.
I think that's a score.
Anyways,
everybody. Wait, no. Oh, he has this sticker on his bumper. Oh.
Anyways, everybody, check out Simply Bitcoin's Telegram group. It's a party in there. Go to www.t.me/simplybitcointv. There's more than 700 people in there. Also, the written version of this show. Shout out to our awesome writers, Rustin, Weineckis, Zach, Paul. We just got a macro guy joining Simply Bitcoin, baby. So definitely don't want to miss Simply Bitcoin's blog.
We get them all?
Yeah, oof. Dude, there's so many. There's so many.
Shout out to all you guys.
I have to make a list. So guys, definitely check out simplybitcoin.news. You don't want to miss the written version of this show. Pure hot signal. Anyways, everybody, let's get to the software release. Let's do it.
Bitcoin software release.
Brought to you by CipherSafe. Don't be that person that loses their Bitcoin seed due to fire damage, water damage, dog attacks. Back up your generational Bitcoin wealth on steel, and there's no better place to do it than the Cipher Grid by CipherSafe. And now check out their new Bitcoin art, the Bitcoin Rulux triangle, only on CipherSafe.io.
All right, guys. So today's software release is Zeus, and it is version 0.7.2 beta 1. And the highlight of this release is you can receive via NFC. Payment settings allow the user to change their default fee limit. Let's go. LNURL authority support for LND Hub, and add ability to get rate suggestions from mempool.space when closing a channel. And you can see there's a few things that change, but shouts out to Evan and the crew out there over in Zeus. With the update, I think one of the best Lightning wallets if you have a node that you can connect to yourself. Definitely use Zeus. And of course, if you like the show and you want to hear the audio only form, we are on Anchor, we're on Spotify, we're on Apple, and we are a part of the value for value economy on Fountain. I will get your comments, your streams on the Friday show. So, continue to clip us, continue to send us some comments. We appreciate all the support. It means a lot to us. And, just help spread the signal. It doesn't have to be us. Just help spread that Bitcoin only signal so that more people can wake up to what is going on in front of their face.
Absolutely. Amen to that. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining us. Another episode of Simply Bitcoin Live. Sorry we ran a little bit late today. Had some technical difficulties. Restream wasn't playing the video, so we had to do it manually. Anyways, we love you all. If you enjoyed the content, make sure to subscribe if you feel like we provided you value. Make sure to hit that like button. Share this video. In fact, share all Bitcoin content. Get the Bitcoin signal out there. The party continues for another half an hour on Twitter Spaces. It's a co-hosted space with our friends over at Swan Bitcoin, best place to stack sats, built by Bitcoiners for Bitcoiners. Shout out producer Jacob for also holding it down as well. Love you all. Thank you so much for joining us today, and we will see you tomorrow for a brand new episode of Simply Bitcoin Live.